I just want to say amen to our praise team. Last week we had a big SWAT meeting as a church family, and one of our things was diversifying our portfolio in the music department, and they have stepped into the challenge and achieved it. So we say thank you, and thank you this morning. Want to let everybody know, working on a little icon, a little t-shirt. This 2020, our theme this year is going to be envisioning grace. Envisioning grace. I don't know about you, but too often in church we like to remember our failures, do we not? We come to church repenting for our sins, and we come to church and some people won't let us forget our mistakes, and every now and then we have this moment where the world does make it a strong impression that there's a lot of pressure to perform. And if you don't do everything just right, you end up somewhere you don't want to be. So this year, our thing is envisioning grace. God having the ability to propel me forward, right? Beyond my mistakes. God being able to overcompensate for my incompetencies. And He be able to make up for all the mistakes I've made. That He is literally stronger than my mistakes. That's what this year is about. And so your pastor has gone on an Easter egg hunt through the Bible, looking for the word grace and finding words that will be relevant to knowing that God is bigger than me. God is bigger than my mistakes. So let me jump in with 2 feet. Notice what happens in this text. Joseph starts off just being a boy at the age of 17. He's born to a woman who later dies giving birth to his second son. To his brother, his father's second son. And notice what happens. He then is placed in an unfair position, didn't he? Yeah. And let me just have a brief commercial to say, you can't choose who you're born to. You can only choose what you do with it. You can't choose how you're born. You can only live with what you're given. Notice what happens in the text. Notice what happens. It's really simple. Joseph is born to his father's preferred wife. And while being born to his father's preferred wife, he then gets favor and privilege from his father that the other brothers just don't get. And it's seen and it's described in a very simple way. It says it like this: Jacob loved Joseph more than he loved the other brothers. And notice what happens. He gives him a special coat to signify his significance. And watching is so obvious because it even alludes to it that even the writer Moses is a little bit biased to Joseph because he even, or he's able to acknowledge his favor because he even says, look, Joseph was the son of a father in his old age. Implies the concept that he didn't get all the same discipline or the short leash the other brothers got. It implies the idea that he got sometimes some favor and some preferential treatment that the other brothers didn't get. But can I be fair with you sometimes? When people elevate you above somebody else, you will discover that behind your elevation or beneath your elevation is jealousy. You will discover that when people like you a lot, it oftentimes will breed contempt and jealousy. Let me say it differently. The Bible says it this way in the New Testament: woe unto you when all men speak well of you. Because if everybody likes you, then somebody ain't telling you the truth. Huh? Okay, I say it again. If everybody likes you, somebody lying to your face. Nobody likes everybody. And everybody don't like nobody. Yeah. I just want to put it out there that literally you got to be careful when somebody elevates you. Don't sit too high on your high horse, because I promise you, jealousy and hatred follow. And it's seen simply in this story. Watch this. Literally, Joseph has not done anything other than be the annoying little brother. Right. Daddy gave me a nice coat, so I would wear it. Because my daddy gave me a coat. And I love my daddy. Shoot, my daddy loved me. And he wears his coat. And watch what happens. He literally goes just like the little brother, and I don't know, maybe I resonate really well with him because I was the little brother. And he sees his brothers really kind of in some stuff they really shouldn't be into. So when he goes back to daddy, notice the text says he didn't lie. It just said he gave a bad report. So now Joseph is officially a snitch. Because we did all the work already, or we planned to delay to get it done just before we had to return home with the sheep. And either way it goes, by the time Joseph got back to Daddy knew all the dirt that they had done. So now, he's the favorite, now he's a snitch, and now we are aggravated. Notice what happens. Joseph just lives according to what he was naturally gifted with. Here it is. When someone favors you, there's nothing anyone else can do to stop the favor that's on your life. So watch this. He's favored. And in the process of him being favored, he begins to divulge his gift. He's so gifted that he has dreams that are actual prophecy, but if you listen to it, it does nothing but cause problems. His dreams are so impactful that it literally has power to what will happen, but if the truth be told, when it is given to people who do not see you for what your giftedness is, it will cause problems. You will discover that sometimes what you do interferes with other people, not because of what they're doing, but probably because of what they're not doing. You ever been at a job or in school and somebody calls you goody two shoes? Yeah, ever look at you and y'all been in that group and y'all saw that other person as an overachiever, always going the next mile, always taking the extra step, always doing the extra thing, and they get on your nerves because they did exactly what they were supposed to, but we all was going, I tell you the truth. So I wasn't the best student when I was growing up. Can I get an amen? Y'all acting brand new with me. I wasn't the best student growing up. When I got off the school bus and got to my neighborhood, I pulled out my little Huffy, and we was in the neighborhood. We was hooping at people's houses and hanging out, and we was doing our thing. And I knew that if I got home by like 4 o'clock, with city traffic, Mama wouldn't get home to about 5:30. I had just enough time to do my homework, wash the dishes, start a laundry load that she told me to do this morning if I just went ahead and had my fun. But don't you know that I didn't get it done in time? That somebody called my bluff and I had to shoot another, I had to lose another game of basketball because I wasn't good at it. But I had to do it again. And then it reflexively showed itself when it came to my grades in school. And the younger way I got to high school, y'all learned about the curve. Oh, yes. Come on, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, Jesus, be offended. Let me tell you this. Every now and then, we classmates would conspire to not really all do our best, or we would agree that none of us really did our best. And there was always that one individual in class that was say it again. He said, took the words right out. Overachiever. That joke, I've been studying for that test for 6 days. The only day they didn't study was on the Sabbath. And they sitting there reading their minds away. And they walked into the classroom with flashcards. And the teacher said, look, I'm thinking about not giving you the test. And they joker threw their hand up in there. No, I studied. I want to take the test today, right? And then they take the test. And the rest of us get 70s. And this bum got a 99. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And just mess up the curve. We're supposed to get the rest of that percentage to get, you know what I'm saying? And all we got was 1%. Y'all don't hear me in here. And so now I'm getting my behind busted by my mother because instead of going home to study for the test, I was out there shooting hoops and I ain't no good at basketball. See, I have a realistic mother. She said, look, if you're going to play basketball, at least, come on somebody, at least be good at it so that's going to do something for you in the future. But you over here shooting, you can't make a shot. Hold on, Sister Ann, I wasn't wasting time. I think you need to change what we saw. But I wasn't any good at basketball when I was a kid. And so here's what happened. I'll say this because I want to put it out there. I became frustrated with my classmate, not because of what he did do, but the real reason why I was frustrated was because of what I wasn't willing to do. Sometimes your persistence and your giftedness will cause other people to be upset with you, not because of what you did, but it's because of what they didn't do. So watch, here's what happens. His giftedness now gets in the way and it intensifies how his brothers feel about it. Notice he gets caught up in politics that he didn't really know were happening. Because he's foolish enough not to tell them one dream, he tells them two. And notice what happens. Joseph now has this struggle, has this issue. Now, his brothers, let me tell you this, when people ain't doing God's work, they talk crazy. And every now and then, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. Can I get an amen? Because people will talk intentionally contradictory to the position that they're currently sitting in. So the brothers really plot to kill Joseph. But Reuben, I guess, has somewhat of a conscience. And he says this, listen to this statement. Let's not kill him or put a hand on him. Let's just throw him into the pit. Okay, y'all missed it. I'm going to say to this side, they're going to play a game. He says, let's not put a hand on him or kill him. Let's just throw him into the pit. Now, Miranda, help me out. How in the world do you throw a man in a pit without touching him? Was that fun to nobody else? Okay, that was fun to me. I'm enjoying myself. All right, watch this. So, literally, they're talking crazy, and if you aren't paying attention, you will get caught up in crazy. So watch, here's what happens. They throw him in a pit, and then there's this big, long chapter 38 that happens about Tamar and her man that didn't do what they were supposed to do. And then you get on down to chapter 39, and then you see this thing that says literally that Joseph was sold to Potiphar, and Potiphar then turns around and makes him a slave in his house. Now here's the thing, Potiphar is the chief bodyguard to Pharaoh. Now here's the part where it gets real fun. You ready? Because Potiphar has wisdom, he sees that everything Joseph touches flourishes. So when it flourishes, Potiphar says, look, I know a good thing when I see one. So I'm going to put him in charge of everything, because if little can be done with this man as a slave, then if I put him over much, I know he can multiply things into other areas. Okay, so here it goes. Here's the fun part. Sometimes we are ignorant to the politics of situations we are born into, and situations that we are naturally gifted with. And we oftentimes walk into life unaware of the devices, of the drama, and the difficulties that are in some life circumstances. And every now and then we trust the wrong people with our gifts, and we give to them thinking that they are ready for us to make a difference, and we give to them thinking that they are ready to live a better life. But let me tell you, every now and then you will run into people who are not ready to live to their best potential, and sharing your gift will have you in slavery.
Oh my God.
Rather than being delivered into the purpose that God has gifted you with in your dreams.
Mercy, Father.
So watch what happens. He now is a slave of the bodyguard captain. And understand the struggle. As a free man, he's worthy to be killed. But as a slave, he's worthy to be exalted. He's not able to live successfully to his own dreams, but he's able to develop living to somebody else's. Steve Harvey says it this way: if you work for somebody else, you will live your life building their dreams. Rather than living your life building your own. But notice, he didn't get a choice in the matter, Sherman. His brother sold him without his choice. Lied to his daddy, not even a search party on the way. Watch what happens. He literally now is exalted to being the Potiphar's number 2 man. But watch what happens. Potiphar's wife has got a mean eye. She sees him, she likes him, and she wants him. She tells him, if you just come and lie with me, we can just keep this thing going. Satan knows how to kick you when you're down. Because in real life measures, as a slave, the mere fact that she's interested should have him killed. And then worse off, she lies about he should have been dead. Here's what happens. He says no. She lies on him. He should be killed for the mere acquisition as being a slave. Scholars like to suggest that the grace of God showed up in Potiphar's heart. Or better yet, Potiphar didn't really believe her. So therefore, rather than killing Joseph, he sends him to jail. But here's the part that I want to dig in on. He never got a say-so, and he never got a try. Notice, Potiphar is the bodyguard captain. He has an in as the police officer captain, or better yet, the general captain, that if he says something, they don't even question his word of recommendation. They just do whatever he says. So notice this, Joseph, and you got to understand how much I feel for Joseph. Joseph has done nothing but be honorable. Sure, he made some decisions that could have been done better, but if you can be fair, he has not really done anything wrong. He literally just does what he's supposed to, and God blesses him out of his normality of giftedness, the process of that, notice what happens. It does nothing but bring him more. What do you do when doing right treats you so wrong?
Mercy. What, Lord?
What do you do when every time I make them look better, they find a way to lie on me? And I didn't even get a chance to defend myself. People will hate you with speculation. And notice, the more that he exalts, no matter how low it goes, the worse it gets. It's bad enough I was sold into slavery. And it's bad enough that my master's wife is trying to hit on me. It's bad enough that I can't live out my dreams. But now I didn't get a trial to defend myself. I didn't get a word to express what happened. It just was anger built against me. And now here I am in jail. And I don't know how I'm going to get out. You'll miss the point if you think jail is only physical. Because if the truth be told, some of us in the house today are living free lives, but because of the hope that was stolen from us, and the lies that have been told on us, and the truth that was a lie that people think about us, the truth be told, a lot of us are living in a jail. Though we're walking around free. That's right. And notice you were just born this way. Just living your life. Didn't ask to be here. Didn't know they was going to say that about me. And no, this is my family. I didn't expect them to treat me like this. No, my slave owner treats me better than my family does. Notice what happens. All I get is I go from bad to worse. Now here he is in solitary confinement. And you know when you're gifted, you will be gifted wherever you go. Okay, here's a commercial. Places, people, and situations do not keep you from being gifted. Let me say it again. The anointing and the calling of God that is on your life is not dependent upon who's in your life. It's not dependent on where you are. It's not dependent on who believes in you. And it's not dependent on how old you are or how young you are. Notice the story starts out with Joseph being 17. And by the time he makes it to Pharaoh's court and sees his daddy, he's 40. It doesn't tell us how long he was in there. But all I know is there was 2 years in between him seeing the chief cupbearer and the jungle getting restored. So at best, he's 38. Joseph has been in slavery and in jail in between 21 years. And you think this 2 year suffering that you're going through, so notice what happens. He literally, in his life, has a situation where he continually morphs into doing his best in his giftedness. And it puts him deeper and deeper into a dark place of being important. He went from being loved by his daddy with a promise from God to being assumed dead by his daddy. living inside of a jail cell. And notice this, he wasn't just in jail, he was in the area where solitary confinement happens, because the text says the cupbearer and the chef went to confinement. And that's where we find Joseph's ability to interpret their dreams. Notice what happens. Joseph interprets the dream. This is where I come with the giftedness. He was gifted at 17. He's still gifted by 38. Time has no configuration on your giftedness or your calling. Watch this. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. He literally interprets the dream. The guys hear his dream. And notice what happens. They forget about him when they go back. One individual dies and is killed by Pharaoh. The other individual is perfectly restored. And he forgets about him for 2 years. Here's another aside. Be leery of the people that only remember you when they're in trouble. Be leery of the people who only remember you when they are in trouble. They got there because they were in trouble. He doesn't remember him until he's in trouble again. God bless America. Your gift sometimes will bless people, but people will sometimes not be able to be a blessing to you. Let's just be honest. They never were a blessing to you. We like to romanticize it because they were there and they picked up the phone and they were listening ear and they gave us some feedback that they were something good to us. But if we can really be fair about this situation, there are some people that are conveniently in your life to maintain or go through life with you. But the real reason why you only there in their life is for when they got trouble. Nowhere to be found when you struggle, but all up in your face when they got drama. So watch what happens. Joker finally remembers. Joseph interprets the dream for Pharaoh. Pharaoh takes him straight to the top. He says, the only place you will be second to me is on the throne. Ride in the second chariot. I ride in the first. And truly, if we want to be fair, Joseph's dream, as we all know, does come true. His brothers, looking for sheaves, bow before him. And literally, he rules over them and he reigns over them. Don't give up on the dream that God has given you. But I want to deal with the part that I think is most common to man today. And I'll be done in a matter of minutes. A lot of us feel, know, and acknowledge the gift of God that's been placed on our lives. A lot of us. And when I say a lot of us, let me just be fair. All of us have a gift from God. Okay, let me say it again. All of us have a gift from God. Yes. Notice in the parable given by Jesus, one person was only given one talent. Nobody had no talent. Dang, that was good. Y'all. Nobody has no talent. Everybody at least has one talent. Some of us are gifted with 3, some of us are gifted with 5, and some of y'all got so many gifts y'all can't make up your mind. But if we can just be fair, everybody and their mama got at least one talent. And sometimes it ain't in the place that you want it to be. For example, for me, basketball. I wasn't good at it. Still ain't good at it. I play great defense, but I can't shoot for a dime. Understand this though. So, literally, the text is telling us everybody's got to get it. So watch this. Everybody has a dream. Don't give up on your dream because people won't exalt you. Because notice when they do exalt you, it only brings you hate. Okay, so let me see if I can say this differently. Joseph's father exalted him, and notice immediately his brothers hate him. Potiphar's wife exalts him, and immediately Potiphar's anger comes against him. So watch what happens. Every time man exalts you, you will discover problems will follow. But every time God exalts you, you will discover favor, purpose, prosperity, opportunities will follow. Watch this. It's in, for those of us who are super saved, it's in Genesis 39, and it's in verse 7, I believe, and it's at the end of verse 29. It says it this way. When Joseph was sold, it immediately says after that, and the Lord was with Joseph, and Potiphar favored him. The Lord was with Joseph, Potiphar saw it, and he then elevated him. Here it is. When people elevate you, you will get drama, jealousy, and hatred. But when God elevates you, he'll cover up your worst places, and he'll make up your deficiencies, and he'll give you opportunities that, notice, Joseph has not gone through anything to be politically astute. He's still ignorant and naive. But because the Lord is with him, it allows him to excel in a slave labor that he's not used to. His father is a shepherd. He's working for a captain of bodyguards. He literally excels in the house and in the office of a man in a position he never knew about. He gets in jail, and the warden sees that the Lord is with him and allows him to be favored in a way in which he gets blessed to be in charge while he's in, watch this, confinement. My whole life I knew I was gifted. Your whole life you knew you was gifted. Your whole life you knew you were called. My life I knew I was called. My whole life I've been able to excel everywhere. But I never had the chance. I was never promoted. I was never made management. I was never made supervisory. But I had a dream that I just couldn't live out there. And the more I exalted them, the more they abused me, lied on me, sold me out, mistreated me, and made me feel like God couldn't do it no more. But let me tell you this, when people put you down, you feel like they're burying you. But when God is with you, they ain't doing nothing but playing you. Okay, let me see if I can say that again. When people put you down, they bury you. But when God is on your side, they ain't doing nothing but playing you. Because notice he goes from being free to being sold into slavery to being a slave in jail. And somehow or another, he turns out being the second in command in Egypt. I'm done. There's this thing called bamboo. Have you ever heard of it? Oftentimes you'll see it in the tiki shops and basic tiki torches. The real people that think they're real earthly, they'll have it hanging up as like a little draper between the doorways. Bamboo is something we find often in our Chinese dishes. Something real soft and chewy and fun. Find a lot of bamboo also in the Asian, most bamboo is associated with a panda bear hanging on the side, right? And the number one thing that makes bamboo so amazing is that it can bend under an incredible amount of pressure without breaking. But the part that makes bamboo really so impressive is that bamboo grows deeper than it grows upward. In other words, by the time you see the first sprig of a bamboo after it's been planted, it usually is almost 6 times as deep as it ever is up. That's the reason why bamboo is kind of a long-suffering plant to plant, because you'll discover that it grows 6 feet deep before it ever breaks the surface. And it allows bamboo to be a vegetable plant or a plant-like tree that no matter how much weight you put on it, it bends, but it won't break. Because the plant knows the significance that I have to grow deep in the dark so that when I get to the elements that expose me in the light, I can't be broken. So here's the reality. I know a lot of us are waiting in some dark places. And I know that Satan has continued to allow situation after person, after situation, after bill, after emptiness, after neglect, after lie, after no trial, after rumor, after family member, after slavery, after hopelessness, after being in jail, after being enslaved to addiction. I know for a fact that some of us are in some dark places. But I want you to know today that God needs you to grow in this dark place so that when He elevates you, it won't break you when you get into the elements of this life. That when people lie on you, it won't bend. And when drops come, it won't bend. And when situations, you won't break. Because I invested in the darkness that I could live in the light. That's why it's been this way. That's why it kept happening. That's why it kept making mistakes. And a lot of people want me to be concerned about, wait, Pastor, don't preach too much hope without trouble. But the truth is, if it's the trouble I caused, or if it's the trouble that God's allowed, if I'm intentionally holding on to God, I'll get to the same place in Him. Okay, you missed it. My God. Some of us have caused this dark place. And some of this dark place has happened to us. But whether you caused it or whether it happened, as long as you're stuck in God, you'll have the same result. That's the reason why she who was trifling is where she is today. That's the reason why she who was taken advantage of is where that's why he who was left is in the place he's in today. That's the reason why he who was lied on is in the place he is today. It's because they held on to God. And that whether it was my fault or whether he needed it to happen to work it out of me, I still had the same result. So I would say I'm sorry, but it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I would say I need to fix it, but God knows I wouldn't have known what to do if it was never broken. Yeah, I should say I've been working on it, but the truth is He's been working on me.
Hallelujah.
working on me. And I know what you heard about me last time, but it's okay, baby, I'm grown. Yeah, I know what I did last year, but it's okay, baby, I'm still grown. I know what the mistakes I made last year, but I'm still grown. He's not done with me yet. And I know where I get wrong, and I know where I messed up, and I know I can't clean it up. I know spilled milk is spilled milk. I know that it smells sour out of the mouth. But guess what? I'm still growing. And God isn't through with me yet.
Thank you, Jesus.
And God isn't through with you yet. And God isn't through with you yet. And God isn't through with you yet. The opportunity still exists. The husband still exists. The bill still will get paid. God is not through with you yet. This mistake was not unto death. But I'm still growing. I'm still growing. I'm still growing. I'm going to be as stuck on growing as I was stuck on making that mistake. I'm still growing. Let's sit up on our feet. There's somebody in the house today that isn't sure if they're growing. You don't know what the Lord wants from you. And the truth is, you ain't really sure whether it's your fault you hear or whether God's trying to teach you a lesson. And the truth be told, that's the devil in the details. What we got to hold on to is that God, who began a good work in me, is still righteous, just, willing, and patient enough to finish a good work in me. And so I want to know today, is there anybody in here who says, I ain't sure what I'm doing, but I'm not going to let go until he blesses me. And just put your hands up to there and tell Lord, dear God, I know that I make mistakes. And God, I know that Satan is after me. But Lord, regardless to what it is, I'm not letting go of you, Lord. I need to grow, God. I got to grow, God. I got to get better, God. Because this darkness will not be for nothing, Lord. This darkness was meant to develop me, God. This darkness was meant to grow me, God. This darkness was to get me to water, oh Lord. This darkness was to protect me from the people, oh God. This darkness was for my Lord. I'm still growing. And I thank you for never giving up on me, oh God. I thank you for forgiving me, oh God. I thank you for propelling me, Lord, in places I didn't know what I was doing. God, I thank you for equipping me, God, in places I was unfamiliar. God, I thank you for making me experience in places I was novice. God, I thank you for making me proficient, God, in places I didn't know what I was doing. God, I thank you for growing me. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. Come on, everybody, give God a hand clap of praise.